Hello and welcome to Salute on Central Florida. I'm your host, Bob Peters, and I have the pleasure of having two friends with me who happen to be Gold Star parents, happen to be on the Veterans Committee here at Eagles 4273 in Oklahoma, Dave and Sandy Bock. And they are going to talk about their son and the Gold Star parents and what is Gold Star and all that, and So let's talk a little bit about your son. I know because you're a proud mom.
Absolutely.
You have two sons that served in the Marines.
That served in the Marines. Our two youngest sons both served in the Marines, and they both did tours in Iraq, and Mike also did tours in Afghanistan. Our son, Michael, this portrait that was given to us, very special to us. There was a reunion of the 3rd Combat Engineers Group where they came, and a woman had said that they had 20 that fell in Afghanistan, and she wanted to do an oil painting of each of them. So, and next to him is his, when he finished boot camp at Paris Island, and he went immediately they shipped him immediately to California and then directly to Iraq. He didn't have time to hardly get a locker to put his things in. Next to that is his wonderful wife and his beloved son. The last picture that they had together, his son was 3 years old, and the last conversation they had was his 3rd birthday, and his dad was in Afghanistan. I remember that because he stayed up to the middle of the night so he could call and do that. So we're treasured to have Tiffany and Xander Bock still as part of our family.
So your son, this one was born not on 9/11 per se, the date of the towers, but he was born on 9/11, right?
Right. The morning of the day the towers went down was his 18th birthday on September 11th. We woke up thinking this is just another birthday day that we will have, and making preparations for that. The boys went off to high school. Mike was a senior, his brother was a sophomore. Dave went to work, and I was getting the house put together and watching the TV, and I just gasped because I saw that. So our day changed. Mike had just enlisted in the early entry program for the Marines just a few days before 9/11 happened. So this really made his conviction stronger that he would be a Marine.
Yeah, a lot of young men and women, because of 9/11, they joined the service. That's 19 years ago, that 9/11. And
Yeah.
Well, I think you need to know that he was recruited by Gail Sayers' son here in Leesburg, Florida.
Did he play for the Giants?
Oh,
yeah.
He didn't play for the Giants, I don't know. No, obviously I know him, yes, very well, very well.
And Tim Sayers is a very strong member of our family.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about your son and his history and...
Well, Mike was an amazing guy. I mean, he had a mind of his own. I can remember him teaching his brother how to drive when he was 5 years old. I can remember all of a sudden we got a letter stating that our son was accepted to a private school. We didn't know anything about it. He just did it on his own. And we had to talk about that because that wasn't a cheap school to go to. But fortunately, he got a scholarship. So he's always done things on his own. Spearheaded out and headed out. One of the challenges I think everybody has when you have individuals going into, and family members going into war, is you can pretty well sense there's PTSD. And one of the things that when he came back from his second tour from Afghanistan, we said, you need help.
Iraq.
Or Iraq, rather, yeah. You need help. And he said, okay. And he left, and all of a sudden he got back to Pendleton. He said, oh, by the way, my order's been changed. I don't know when I'll be talking to you. And then quite a few months later, he called back, and he's a young kid again, happy-go-lucky. And we said, well, we're glad you went and got help. And he said, no. I said, what happened? Well, I got recruited to be in the movie Flag of Our Fathers. And he had time to spend with Spielberg and Steelman, who sat down and talked with him and lived with him and really turned him around. And so we got our son back because of that.
That's great.
And then, of course, he went to Afghanistan December when they first introduced the ABV in the program.
You're going to have to tell our viewers about the ABV.
When they were doing the movie of Flag of Our Fathers, they found out that the Army had a Greeley, and a Greeley got rid of IEDs. But it wasn't working, and the Pentagon didn't want to spend the money. So in turn, there was another vehicle being developed in Fort Knox. It was a modified Abrams tank that took care of that problem. So a few Marines were selected to go into Fort Knox, perfect it, and get it taken care of. However, long story short, they told the Army it didn't work. So it had to go back to the Marine base in 29 Palms. Well, it worked. So in turn, there was a group of them that insisted that it could be put back in service, and their wishes finally got done, and so it went into service in Afghanistan in 29, and was put into there.
Yeah, and its main function was the roadside bombs, right?
It's a land clearing device,
Yeah.
basically, is
So
what it
people
is.
they don't know what we're talking about unless you tell them.
Basically, it's on a vehicle, shoots out a cable, we'll say 1 football field long, so people can understand that, and had 1,764 pounds of C4 on it, so there were no more explosives. That was taken care of. And then right behind it, they could do a land clearing device in front of a plow, and the troops could go ahead and advance into the enemy. So that's basically what it was for and designed for.
Okay, and to continue with your story, what did he, how long was he there? and-
Oh, well, Marines typical 6 months. He was there, ended his tour, so he came back early, completing his 6 months. And we have one location where all our family is together, totally alone. And he got a call, and he said his orders were changed. He had to leave immediately and go to California. So when he got there, he was given 90 days to train the entire new crew to go back in and finish the invasion, getting ready for the major one in Afghanistan. And that's when the Taliban put out a notification, the big booms here, and it was there. So, like any equipment, it doesn't always work. And so when you send out a charge out of a football field, it doesn't always detonate. So in turn, he could assign anybody to go out, run out, light a fuse, and you only have so much time that you have to get back before it explodes. He wouldn't do that. That's the type of guy he was. So he did it himself. So under fire, he did it 3 different times.
Wow, it's amazing. But evidently, like you said, the Taliban wasn't too fond of him, right?
No, they assigned a sniper to kill him.
And unfortunately, they got him.
Yep.
But we got even, right? That's the
Oh,
important
yes.
thing.
Oh, yeah, between the Marines and the Brits, they went ahead and signed, I believe, 4. It took them 2 weeks to find him and then brought in aircraft. Killed him.
That's quite all right. Listen, it's an honor to have you guys here, and it's an honor to inform people, about your son. So, because brave men and women like that, we've got to honor them, and that's how you guys, unfortunately, became Gold Star parents. Mm-hmm. And you want to talk about what is a Gold Star? And I see you have different flags.
Yes, we have different flags that we have. This was a tradition actually started in World War I, where when a military person was killed in action, you first were given a blue star to hang in your window. We had 2 blue stars because we had 2 guys serving. And then if someone's killed in action, that blue star is changed to a gold star, and that's why we're called Gold Star parents. And this is not necessarily common that we have, but we still have these hanging at our home. And then we have just this individual gold star for Michael, who was killed in action. The blue star can also be applied by some families if they have a veteran. If they have someone in their family that is a veteran, they can still claim a blue star. So we have a blue star and a gold star because our youngest son was also a staff sergeant in the Marine Corps.
We had one on the front lines every month for 7.5 years.
Wow. Yeah, the Blue Star, yeah, they put it in the window. That was just to tell everybody they got somebody serving.
Someone serving in war.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's quite
So-
a bit of history there.
Yeah, so this is a killed in action notification that may be different from other things.
So you guys, I know, because I know you guys, and I know you're heavily involved with the Gold Stars and Gold Star family. So what is going on with the Gold Star families?
Well, they actively support each other, and they have service requirement that goes, not necessarily a requirement, it's a volunteer to go, and they can work with veterans. You can follow an interest. So if you think you can help this suicide and extreme PTSD that many of these young people do, there are also military veterans that might be in jail. They do regular visits to help them in jail. So it's really upon individuals to find something of interest where they can share.
Well, hold on. There's also an organization called Gold Star Fathers in the state of Florida.
Oh, yeah.
We can't forget about that, can we?
Super organization, keeping all the fathers together and supporting. Matter of fact, one of the things they have coming up is Gold Star Fathers will have a clay shoot down in Tampa coming up here in October to support all the Gold Star Fathers so they can go out and mingle and talk to each other and express their opinions and stories.
Yeah.
That was a good point, Dave, because everybody thinks of Gold Star moms.
Yeah.
And they don't really think of Gold Star dads, I mean, you both
Yeah.
share the grief, but you were talking about, there's another organization for soldiers who got in trouble with the law, Veterans Court. Did you ever hear of Veterans Court?
I have not been involved with that, no.
Well, it's a great organization. Veterans Court, if a veteran had gotten into some kind of trouble, nothing's, really serious, but, a lot of times a veteran can talk to a veteran.
Right.
And when they go to court, they assign like a mentor who's volunteers as a veteran, and he works with that person. And if they follow everything and get it done, they can reduce the charges. But it's a great organization. It's called the Veterans Courts.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
But I see that shirt there, Gary Sinise. You kind of, know a little bit about that, huh?
Sinise program is amazing. There's nothing we can talk about him. I mean, he does anything and everything as far as regards to veterans. But one of the great things he does is support the kids.
Yeah, he goes down to Disney, right? Gets them down to Disney?
He finally bought out the program, and now he's taken over Disney, I think, for another 3 more years, and actually flies the families and the kids to spend an entire week alone at Disney to just sit down and talk and enjoy themselves. And one of the humongous ballrooms at Disney, and they don't publicize it, but there's a maze that you walk through this ballroom. It's a maze of American flags. And there's a name on each flag.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He had that at the last Snowball Express, and each kid could go in and see his mother or his father's flag, and it's very peaceful, and these kids can help understand what happened to their dad and how important their parent is. So, yeah,
There's no talking. It's totally silent. However, they have counselors at benches throughout so the kids can sit down and talk and find out what's going on. But that just tears you apart.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. But I know Michael went to Leesburg High School.
Yes.
And I know there's a little plaque out there on
Yes.
the football field and everything
Yes.
for him. So that's a local kind of thing here at Leesburg High School. And you have a flag over there that, like, we'll zoom in on later. It's the Honor and Remembrance flag.
Right.
And that's, tell us a little about that flag. That's got your son's name on it and the history about flying that flag. Would you like to say it? That'd be nice.
You can talk about the next thing, because this organization, Honor and Remember, is another association that deals with military families that have lost someone in action. And so they are nationwide. We were asked to come up to receive this flag from them a few years ago, and so they're very active in making people aware of the need for supporting these Gold Star parents, and because their Nebraska group happens to be very active, and they knew Michael when he was growing up, so we had that. They're going to have a golf tournament here in a couple weeks, which they're going to be honoring Michael, but that's
Wisconsin.
That's in Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Nebraska, Wisconsin, hey.
It's flyover territory, right? That's what people say.
I'm going to get letters.
Yeah. Or a talking to from me and no.
Okay, I'll mention your name. I'm in trouble.
So they're another organization that has supported our family, and we cannot say enough about the support that we have received over the years. One thing I'd like to talk about, a woman who has an area in Tampa where veterans can go and stay. It's called My Warrior's Place, which is something that is an exciting story all on its own. But she started asking Gold Star parents, what do you say to a Gold Star parent? And so I happened to be watching a news program, one of those where they interview people. They were interviewing a colonel, commander, someone high official, who would go to the home of any fallen military person and visit the parents. And he said we had a wonderful visit, but he had places to go and things to do, so he asked to leave. And they said, "Oh, won't you stay for dinner?" And he said, "No, thank you very much, but I've really got to go." He says, driving down the road shortly after, I realized, excuse me,
Quite all right.
they wanted to tell me about their son. Excuse me.
Sorry, my friend.
So I would say that if you run into a Gold Star parent, just tell me about your son. Tell me about your daughter. And that is a wonderful way to start a conversation with them.
But I have to promote Warrior Place. She did a remarkable job. So basically, it's open to all veterans. It's your place to come down. When it first started, you could stay there free.
Now, where is this?
Outside of Tampa. It's
Outside of
It's
Tampa.
right on Tampa Bay.
Okay.
It's on Tampa Bay. And you have boats. The veterans can go out and spend a morning deep sea fishing. Everything's free. However, they found out the veterans didn't want to go.
Yeah, I can do it on my own.
I can do it on my own.
Yeah.
So in turn, what they did is said, okay, $25 a night. So she bought this trailer park. It's now, she owns everything. It's developed, and it's open to veterans and Gold Star people to go down and spend a day. And it is the most amazing, solemn, relaxing place you can go.
Yeah.
And I wish I could promote more out of it because it is just amazing.
Oh, that's great. Listen, we have a few things on the desk here, or the set. This is a bust of your son. It was done by a fellow Marine, right? I remember this because when I was with Lakefront TV, we talked about this, and maybe you'd just like to tell people about who did that.
He is a remarkable sculptor. He's from here in Florida. He's in Jacksonville. He's a Vietnam vet, and one of his goals, shall we say, is to sculpt, starting out with Marine vets, and do a bust of everyone that has passed away in the state of Florida. And it's amazing. All of a sudden, you get a phone call from somebody You don't even know. Starts asking you questions, and all of a sudden, they say, "Who are you?"
Why are you calling me? Yeah.
So, believe it or not, for 6 months to a year, photographs, conversations, he knew everything inside and out of Mike before he sculpted it. So, you were there.
Yes,
It
I
was
was.
presented here in Leesburg at the Center of the Arts. And then in turn, we went ahead and kept it there for a while, and then took it over to the high school so the kids could have some time to do with that. But because of the virus, everything's locked down, so the kids don't really get to see anything. But in the meantime, we got another phone call. Out of the blue, we had this guy call us from Nebraska. I needed to talk to, so we returned his call. And he is now the principal of the middle school, where Mike went to junior high. And he said, my first year, Mike was one of my first students. We would like to, and we just did, build a new learning center and modified it, and we would like to dedicate in Mike's name. So we took the bust and took it up there, and that's where the bus sits.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And while we're up at the golf tournament, we'll get to see the finished project.
Good, good.
But what he wanted to do there was to teach young kids as they grow up, you can do whatever you want to do. And Mike did. And encourage them to keep going.
And yeah, and to educate, and that's part of what we try to do here
Yeah.
with Central Florida Salute. Speaking of education, there's a book. You want to talk a little bit about the book and a little bit about the patch, and I don't know how much more time we have, but I'll tell you what, you can drive down the road on 44 and you can see Michael Block Highway, right?
Right.
Mike's he's got a place of the
We
road.
get many phone calls of people who knew Mike. It's just amazing. One of them, everybody knows about the 3-7 in Afghanistan. This patch has finally been agreed upon and can be used. And a gentleman named Ronnie Alexander, who wrote the book, Red, Sweet, and Fierce, called us up, and he was with Mike when he got killed. So it is a story about what was going on during that time in Afghanistan. And there's many pictures in here that reference that. They reference the ABV and doing its job and so forth. So that was nice to even receive this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Signed, hand copy, and personal notes.
I imagine if somebody wanted to get it, they can go in the
Yeah, you can get it. It's called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. You can,
Blood,
you
Sweat,
can
and
buy
Tears.
it.
All right, yeah. So what are you guys doing now? I know you go to a lot of different things together for the Gold Stars. Is something coming up in that you want to talk about a little bit? Because remember, this won't air for probably another 3 or 4 weeks, you know.
No, right
Well,
now,
I don't know. My videographer's over there looking at me like, yeah, well, who says so?
right now between now and going to Nebraska, and today, we just need to spend some time by ourselves.
Yeah, I could understand that. I can understand that. Well, if somebody wants to, what are those? These are his.
Oh,
I know you got something there. I don't want to cut you off, my dear.
Well, we
That's
might
another
talk
story.
about the honors that he's received a little bit. When we first met the Marines standing at our front door on a beautiful Florida afternoon, Friday the 13th of August, 2010. We went to Dover to receive the body.
Mm-hmm.
We went there, we came home, and then the Marines flew us to California, 29 Palms, his last place he was stationed, because they were having such a hard time.
They were still in war.
Yeah, well, when excuse me, when
Hey,
when
hey,
they,
That's why I'm here.
I told you we might fight. No, when his unit got back from Afghanistan, they had us come out there, and they decided to have a funeral. They lost 3 very close, and they're very close brothers to them. So they had a wonderful weekend ceremony, and then they had a banquet, of course, and I don't know if I can tell this. The corpsmen who were with Mike gave me these. They wanted me to have these. they said Mike was the guy, because they come from the Navy, you know, the corpsmen,
I've
with
heard,
the
yeah.
Marines. And so they were given a rough time when they first, and this was their first tour of any kind. They were kind of given a rough time, and they said, Mike was the one that came and put his arm around their shoulder and said, you can do this. We want you to be with us. We want to do this. So they said they wanted me to have these because he meant so much to them.
Well, you know what, I could feel the emotions here, and I have emotions too, because I know you guys very well. You're very good friends of mine. You're on the Veterans Committee here. You're a tremendous help to all of us here. And, you know, I can't say enough about the men and the women who serve our country and the sacrifices they make and the sacrifices you guys made, you know, losing a child. And I can't say, you know, I can't say enough for any of you, but if somebody wanted to learn more about Gold Star, they can go on the computer, can they not?
Yes.
You have a link or something you might want to tell people?
You can go on Gold Star Mothers, naturally. You also...
How about Gold Star Fathers?
Yes, Gold Star Fathers has one of their own. Honor and Remember, you can go out and contact them. We're very affiliated nationally with Honor and Remember in Nebraska. We've inquired to see if we can get Honor and Remember going here in Florida, so we're working on that. But I think the other thing is, because this is 9/11, there's one other flag you need to talk about with Honor and Remember. It's called Honor and Sacrifice.
Honor and sacrifice, yes. I thanks to you, you let me have the flag to show down at the AMVETS. And maybe at the end of this, we'll get up and show it, because right now it's not in front of us.
No.
But we'll make sure it gets shown on the camera, you know, before we go, you know. But
Maybe she can display it on the front of this nice desk.
Yes.
if you talk nice to her, maybe she'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's pretty
Yeah.
good. It's pretty good.
So I think we're down to.
We're talking about Sue Cameron, who is
Yes, we
my
are.
partner in
And-
Central Florida Salute. She's with
And-
Wild Zebra Media.
And by the way, when we did a memorial for Mike here in Florida, Sue was there and has an entire video just dedicated to Mike when we did it here.
Good lady. Good lady.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Wait a minute, I got a couple people coming in here. You know, you ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
This is a member of our committee, John Cena, and Father Gary Cato, Episcopalian minister. He was there at Ground Zero. And this is the flag they were for your son. And that's the honor and remembrance. The other flag, now see if we're going to put you guys to work. You got to find the other flag too.
While they're getting the other flag, Honor and Remember in this particular flag.
Oh, that's right.
Organization is, they get sponsors to pay the money so that they can present these flags to every fallen family.
And now they changed the rules. You can fly your flag, right?
Yes, we had a major problem here in the state of Florida. One of the problems was HOAs and so forth would not allow us to fly these flags because they were not honored by the state. Thank goodness, finally, a year ago, this has been taken care of, and we now can fly our Honor and Remember flags and our Honor and Sacrifice flags without having any problem with these other political parties.
Well, so nothing should be political when it comes to military.
That's right.
Because when it comes to military, you know, when as I always say, when the bullets fly, they don't care Republican, Democrat, black, white, Jewish, Catholic.
That's
You know, we are a band of brothers and sisters that believe in our country. Tell me about your son. I know he's highly decorated. Tell us about his decorations.
Well, we've had so many things. So you mentioned there's a highway in his name in Florida, Highway 44, that goes through on South Street and Leesburg. We had the bus. We talked about that earlier. He was also the recipient of a Purple Heart for his bravery, which was a tremendous honor. And he was also received the Presidential Award of Silver Star, a very prestigious honor for him to have.
And he has a plaque at Leesburg High School.
As a
football
plaque
team.
at Leesburg High School,
Yeah, I've
yes. So every time I drive down Highway 44 in Leesburg, I always give him a little hug and a little kiss. So
Okay. And I think with that, I can let us go. Are you ready to
Yep.
call it a day here?
yes,
All right.
go.
And you know how we do this.
Yes, sir.
To all our veterans out there, active military and their families, we salute you for all you do. Till next time.